So now it's time for a little story, a little website called Petite Bamboo. So this is one of, we mentioned at the beginning of the webinar that Hayley has owned 2 successful baby wear e-commerce stores. One of those was Petite Bamboo, where she sold baby bamboo clothing.
Yeah.
Is that right? You can probably talk about your own business, Hayley. I don't know why I've taken over. I've got the need.
Oh, that's right. It's fine. We're a team. So I set up this baby wear store. I've got 3 kids and set up this baby wear store. I designed the website, I designed the clothes, etc., etc. And I basically set it up and wanted I wanted to choose which types of advertising I wanted to invest in. So I invested in Facebook advertising and I wanted to optimize my site. Those were the 2 channels I thought to start with. So with Facebook advertising, it was super, super expensive. And it's mainly the way I drove customers to my store. But
so you got conversions, but it was costing you.
Yeah, I mean, it ate into the bottom line of my profits.
Yeah, which I guess in e-commerce as well, there's not a huge return on investment for each product sold. So you have to be really, really optimized with your advertising.
Yeah, for sure. And I had to spend a lot of my own personal time optimizing the Facebook campaigns. Still worthwhile, but I thought, you know what, I'm sure that I can figure out this SEO gig. So I consulted with Karina and...
lucky she had, the bat phone or whatever it's called. And we got together and nutted out some strategies.
Yeah, that's right. I'm lucky I had her because I started to, the tables turned and I ended up... ranking for bamboo baby wear, and I'm still ranked on the first page for that.
So you've since sold the business. So at one point you were ranking number 1 for bamboo baby wear.
No, I still am.
Oh, so I think ranking number 1 and now it's still page 1. We checked it the other day because you don't own the business anymore, so we're not sure what type of SEO maintenance they're doing. But that's paid dividends, and that's the thing about SEO. You invest now, and the business owner who now owns your business doesn't know the strategy that went into that.
So lucky her, really. Lucky for me that I had you. And so I stayed on paid 1 with this little bit of time I invested. I mean, I picked my top keywords, and one of them was baby clothes online. I didn't quite make that keyword because it is highly competitive.
Yeah, and we'll go into the different types of keywords that you can target as well.
Yeah, so the point is once I sort of started to rank for these keywords, then I didn't have to spend any money on advertising. It was more sort of mild maintenance. I'd have to just check in there and make sure that everything, the keywords were still updated and, different strategies. But I ended up slowing down my advertising with Facebook, and that meant that a lot of my customers, I would say more than 90% of my customers found me by simply, from Google search.
And so how much time would you say that you dedicated to setting everything up? And Google loves fresh content. We know that. If no one knows that, Google loves fresh content. So how much time do you think it took you to get your strategy kind of up and running? And
a couple of hours a week, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I just, I used to go Friday afternoons where I'd sit and do, I would sit and, concentrate on this and follow Karina's big large email that she sent me of all the strategy.
I've gotten a lot more efficient now as well. I don't think I even dot pointed it. I think it was just chunks of my thoughts.
This is what you've got to do, and this is what you've got to do, and check this and check that. Yeah.
It was a side hustle. Yeah.
I know, but great, and very grateful, and paid off. So
So your options, I guess. If you are wanting to get your site ranking in Google organically, is firstly you can decide not to do anything,
and at all.
Sometimes business owners will say, I haven't done any SEO and my site's ranking here. We've got a good friend who's an accountant and she's got a great domain name and she's ranking locally number 1, and she says she hasn't done any SEO. That was because she was lucky to get a great domain name with a great keyword. And unfortunately, that doesn't have the weight that it used to. So you can't, buy Accountants Manly and just assume that you'll be ranking number 1 for Accountants Manly. That's called keyword match domains, and Google now is getting smarter than that. So, they don't want to just give the number one ranking to that website, because what if it's a really crappy website and a poor user experience? Touch on that user experience point again. So, you know, there is a chance that you can do nothing and get found, but the more updates and algorithm changes Google rolls out, it's getting smarter. That's not going to last for very long. You've got to put some effort in order to maintain a ranking or get ranked in the first place. So your other option is to pay an agency or a consultant a monthly fee to manage your SEO. And as I mentioned, I am a consultant, so I do this for SMEs. It is obviously not the most affordable option if you are just starting a business, and obviously there's lots of expenses, but it gets done this way, so that's another option. You might not be, you know, aware kind of what's being done all the time and not completely be across it, but if you choose a trusted provider, then that could work fine for you. Or you can try and work it out yourself and go the DIY option, which is what Hayley did with Petite Bamboo. So Hayley, like hiring an agency, and I'm not going to talk to this because obviously I'm a consultant, so I'm probably going to tell you that it's butterflies and rainbows and
yeah.
But from a business owner's perspective, Hayley?
Yeah, so I've researched and
that was a bus,
dealings.
by the way, if anyone heard that.
Where are you sitting?
Yeah.
So you know, with hiring an agency, it obviously can be expensive. I've hired them in the past with previous businesses, and what that can often do is talk in a lot of technical jargon where you don't understand what they're doing, and I think that that's to kind of cloak, you know, or justify their monthly fees. And I sort of I can see the benefit in hiring an agency to do it for you. If say your time poor and, you know, for it to be completely taken off your hands, but essentially you're paying if you're hiring an agency, you're paying for their overheads, and you're also you know, you're paying for somebody's time. So it doesn't mean to say that if you do it yourself it would be any different. You're just hiring an expert to do it for you. So you sort of relying on them for results, and really nobody can control you know, how your site's, you know, if your site will rank in Google. All that you can do is implement everything the right way, you know, with the knowledge to know how to do it. And at least if you have the foundation, like all the knowledge, the foundational knowledge of SEO, then you're able to, if you end up outsourcing this at some point, you have an understanding of their services.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, because agencies, they speak technically because they are technical, and a lot of agencies don't make an effort to try and communicate what they're doing to business owners beyond a monthly report, which, you know, is often just the action items that is probably updated robots text file, or, you know, so stuff that as a business owner you might not understand because you're not doing it every day, and reports with some graphs of traffic, which is hopefully increasing, but you don't actually know that there's another lever that can't be pulled. You might not know that there's some broken links on your website, and because an agency dedicates just a certain number of hours to you every week, or actually even every month, they can't be as attentive as you are or you would be to your own business, because at the end of the day no one cares about your business as much as you do. And that sounds horrible saying that, because I invest a lot in my work. I go above and beyond, or I like to try and do that. But at the end of the day, it's not my business. Yeah. And I'm not going to be, you know, staying up crying at night about things. But, you know, as a business owner, you do. And, you know, we know this from ID Digital as well. Like, no one cares as much as you do. So, and you're also kind of at the mercy of them kind of knowing, like, when they send the reports and that sort of thing. And again, like, I am a consultant, so it's hard to kind of say that, but I can see both sides.
And there's also different, obviously, types of agencies. You're a trusted consultant, you know, but there are lots of dodgy agencies out there that really don't do anything, you know, that they will take your monthly fee and really not do anything at all. So
I guess even if the webinar kind of sparks some questions, if you already are engaging in an agency and you're on this webinar to kind of, I guess, get empowered and understand the right questions to ask, and I don't know, even if we alert you of one thing to check, and just kind of that might even help pull their socks up if you're unhappy with that agency. But yeah, look, agency is a way, but again, yeah, you have to have a marketing budget.
Yeah. So, DIY, it's obviously a lot more cost effective. So I think that having an education into SEO means that you can put all the pieces of the puzzle together to do this yourself and actually map out a plan for your business. So even coming down to keyword research, you want to be able to, your industry, you are your business, and I think it's very important to learn it yourself. It does not happen overnight. So crooks will tell you that you will rank on page 1, within a few days.
Run a mile, if someone says that. It takes, at least a few months to 6 months to start seeing some results. And I'll put that out there right now. Like, if you're expecting instant results, unless you've already started some SEO strategies and you've done keyword research and you're already at that point, if you're starting from dot now, it's going to take some time, but then you'll be able to reap those rewards forever, like as you know, if you're selling a business.
So it's a constant work in progress, and it's kind of like chipping away as you go along.
Yeah.
It's not going to take all your time, just a little bit, and it's obviously cost effective, because once you know it, you know it, I guess. So
when DIY doesn't work.
So you're doing things because you've read and been told you have to, but you don't know why.
Like your friend of a friend got page 1 by doing this.
And you've probably heard
Chinese whispers
that you need to just put up a blog, and if just putting up a blog will mean that you're going to rank, it's so much more. There's a lot more moving parts to it. That you can't prioritize or work smartly because you don't know what's actually important, because I think SEO can become one of those things of where do I start, and everything's everywhere and you don't even know which path to go down first. I hear that a lot, right?
Yeah, you might, because that's the thing, someone's told you to read this blog, and as a smart and savvy business owner, you want to get skilled up, so you do all the right things, or what you think are the right things, and they are the right things. Like, you are reading SEO articles, you're attending webinars like this, you're in SEO groups, you're asking questions, but that doesn't mean that you have a strategy. It means you have awareness, which is great, but it can get a bit muddled and you can end up a bit Britney-like.
Yeah.
Completely just kind of, where do I start? I don't really even know what's important. If I only have an hour a week, like, how should I be spending it? Because I'm just not seeing any rewards from the effort I'm putting in so far. So why should I spend any more time?
It's so true. I mean, I don't know about you, but I often get to the point where it's information overload. So I have to really think about where I want to invest my time. And, there's so many forms of different advertising. SEO, forms of marketing, I should say.
Yeah, channels,
SEO is one of them. And you really just have to pick one and try not to be overwhelmed with it, I guess. Pick who you want to work with, whether that's us by teaching you, or, coming to these webinars, or reading our blogs, or, or whether you want to go with an agency or a consultant, whichever way, but just, I guess, pick a path and then take it and, just understand it is a slow process, but and a little bit of commitment.
So DIY doesn't work when, I guess, you don't have a strategy, and you abandon things before you see the results. So I think a lot of times, poor SEO, because of bad agencies and black hat SEO out there, but also because it takes time and you need to stick at something for a while in order to see the results. And I don't know about you, Hayley, but I get motivated by analytics numbers and metrics and seeing traffic increasing and all those good things that you do get from SEO, but you might not get straight away. Yeah. So I think it's important to set up other markers. metrics like bounce rates, or zeroing in on one particular blog post that got a lot of traffic, which might not have contributed to an uplift of traffic across the website, but if you think I'm going to continue to duplicate this same type of post, that's going to increase my traffic. Looking at the small wins so that you don't abandon things half done. Like a lot of times I pick things up and think, if you'd actually continued this way, you were on the right path. So don't lose faith, which is difficult when you're not seeing the numbers straight away.
Yeah, and sometimes you might get lucky and you'll start ranking quite quickly for keywords, and that's purely by making these small, simple changes. But generally speaking, yeah, it just takes time. And if you don't have Google Analytics set up, then you're not able to track things to then be motivated to do more of those things, whether it's blog posts or whether it's adding keywords to different areas of your site.
And there's other metrics that you might not know about. Like every website gets given a domain authority, which is a score, and that is generated by email software called Moz, which is really reputable SEO software. It looks at a bunch of SEO factors and gives you a number out of 100. So most websites, when they start with a 1. And then you can build that once you start optimizing your website, particularly with some link building, keyword enhancements, a whole bunch of things. And you can see your score start to climb. And they release new scores every couple of months. So it could be that you do this work on your website and you see your DA go from a 1 to a 7.
Exciting.
But you haven't seen your traffic change yet. But that DA is indicating to you that you are actually on the right path and you're doing a good job. Because otherwise it would stay at a 1. I've seen plenty of new websites stay at 1, hover at 1. If you have been doing SEO for maybe 6 months, a strategy, and you start from 1, you can get to 16 pretty easily. Obviously, sites like Google and Facebook are in the 90s. But if you can get your website, to get to a 30 or a 40 domain authority, you're doing really well. And you should be ranking for some keywords if your domain authority is looking that good. So basically, domain authority, if you are tackling exactly the same SEO strategy as a similar website in your industry, targeting the same keywords, and your domain authority is higher than that website, you will automatically rank higher for those keywords, even if your websites look identical. So good. Stuff like that, knowing where to look and how to stay motivated.
Yeah, for sure. I'm motivated by results as well.
Yeah. And it helps, like for us, obviously we're business partners. So when one of us is down, like, no, stick at it. Like, I actually think we can keep going with this strategy. Like, it's worth staying up till 9 p.m. writing another article for the blog. Oh, but no one's reading it. Oh, actually, no, I looked at the clicks. And, it's easy when you have a business partner. So whatever you can kind of find to keep you motivated, stick with it. So DIY doesn't work when you give up too soon, prematurely.
Yeah, a little bit of commitment.
Oh yeah. So this guy kind of says it all. I think
we were like that today, right?
we were very hamstering. We're at the point now where the hamster will kind of shifts a little bit forward as well, but then probably shifts back as well. But you feel like you're doing all the right things. You're getting home, like you're already so busy with everything else you need to do in your business.
Actually, running the business,
running the business,
doing the work,
doing everything. Like unless you're lucky enough to have staff already, or outsourcing some tasks, or have a virtual assistant, but you have limited time, and you want to make sure that that time is dedicated to efforts that are actually going to pay off, and you don't end up like this little guy. So, a big secret. So, for anyone who noticed, the SEO webinar was called Secret Sauce.
Yeah, Secret Sauce.
Something like that, Hayley.
Yeah.
So these luscious lips are going to tell us the secret, which is that SEO is not a one-size-fits-all approach. So if you are reading all the blogs, implementing all the strategies, they might not be the right ones for your website. Like your website might be fine in those departments and lacking in others. So keywords is something that comes up time and time again. Maybe naturally you're targeting the right keywords. Maybe you don't have site speed issues. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. And if you have limited time, you need to make sure that you're dedicating it to the right areas. And every website has different strengths and problem areas. So the best way for you to start out with an effective SEO strategy is firstly identifying or uncovering what's going on with your website right now. So you have to do that before you can take any action or roll out any fixes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, this is just, I guess, the graph representation of the hamster. Your traffic is stagnating. I mean, this poor guy's actually gotten worse. Somehow he's gone backwards.
What's he done?
He's probably changed the URL structure of a couple of blogs and created broken links. I don't know. Something like that. So, you're dedicating time, but it's not in the right areas. And so you're flatlining, basically.
Yeah.
This is the worst graph you want to see in Google. Mate, you did not want to see this. That is demotivating. I would give up.